What's going on, everybody? ChromeOnRust here. So some things have definitely changed since our last Corecast, so I do kind of want to keep you up to date with what's going on with patch 2.1 as well as what's going on the live servers, both being pretty important. And first things being first, as they always are, we're going to be getting an additional 50% gold find bonus for a limited time only. And I shouldn't say getting, we already got this bonus because it started the 22nd. It's the 23rd of recording, and this is going to be a multiplicative bonus. So if you're sitting at like 3,000, you're not going to be sitting at 3,050. You're going to be sitting way over that because it's going to be multiplying it for you. Now this bonus is going to be ending Tuesday 26th at 3 a.m. PDT. But the ending of something actually starts something new because, well, August 26th, 3 a.m. PDT is when the servers are going to be going down. And this is the live servers when the maintenance is going to be beginning. And, well, they sum it up so nice down here. We hope you have fun this weekend, and we'll see you in patch 2.1.0. So, yes, Tuesday, it looks like we're going to be getting patch 2.1. So do expect the servers to be going down. I would not expect this to be a short maintenance. Maybe it's going to be, you know, this is just my opinions, but it's a pretty big patch. I'd hopefully expect by early evening or late afternoon, we should be having the patch. That would be my best guess. Now, I did in the last Corecast, and I'm going to say it in this one as well, ask if you have any questions you'd like to see them gone over in this video. Please do post them in the comments of this video because that's exactly what we're going to be doing right now. We're going to be going over the ones from the last video. Chris Hambley, he says, I would like to see the life on hit and other proc rates on the skills of all the classes. So he doesn't want to just see the Demon Hunter or the Barbarian. He wants to see it for all the classes. Now, before we get into that, I do want to talk about life on hit and how they're going to be changing it in patch 2.1. Because right now, in 2.0.6, let's say we're using a skill, we walk up, we punch a monster. It has 100, or it has a 1 proc coefficient, or 100%. It's then going to be giving us all of our life on hit back. So if we hit a monster with that attack, we're then going to be getting 1,000 life on hit if that's the amount that we have. Let's say we walk up to that same monster, we hit him again, but this time we have a 0.75 proc coefficient. Well, now instead of 1,000 life on hit, we're only going to be getting an additional 750 life on hit. So that's the way that it works now. But in patch 2.1, when it goes live, how it's going to work is we're going to use the same example. We walk up, we punch that same monster with our 1 proc coefficient, so giving us 1,000 life on hit. It's still going to be working that same way, but now when we walk up to that monster with the skill that has that 0.75 proc coefficient, hit them, and well, we're still going to be getting that 1,000 life on hit. Now, there's reasons for these changes. I'm not going to go real in detail with why, and you know, it'd be a pretty lengthy video. But just know that that's the way that it's going to be working, and proc coefficients are no longer going to be tied to life on hit. But I do want to show you the proc coefficients because it is actually what you asked for. Now, the first one that I do want to show you because it is really, really amazing. Nubtro put this together, and well, let's just take a look at it. You can see here that we have all of our skills, resource and cooldown, skill weapon damage, elemental that it's going to be, coefficient, specific rune information, as well as general skill information. So let's take a look at Whirlwind, Dust Devils. This is going to break down the fury per tick that you're going to be spending. This is going to break down the number of ticks per tornado. Not going to quite be as important when patch 2.1 goes live because, as I said, life on hit and proc coefficients are no longer going to synergize, but there are going to be things that are still going to rely off the proc coefficients. But let's look over at, this is the number of tornadoes that you're going to be getting. That's their proc coefficient of each. Well, we can look over at general skills information, and then we can see that, oh, well, Whirlwind's going to alternate hands to deal damage. It has a 25% movement speed penalty while whirlwinding. And you can just go through and see all the information that this guy has put together for these skills. It's really, really detailed. If you're trying to get into some serious information, this is a really amazing guide. I'm going to leave the links to these in the description so you can check them out for yourself. But if you're not playing a Barbarian, because I know not all players play Barbs, there's going to be one as well for all the classes. It's just not going into as much detail as you can see. It's a little bit easier to read if you just want to know what the proc coefficients are. So down here at the bottom, because it took me a second to find out where it was because I don't really navigate through Google Docs very often, but you can just go down here, see the Barb, see the Crusader, see the Demon Hunter, Monk, whatever you would like to do, and it's going to give you that proc coefficient. Now, the really nice thing about this, if we look at a skill like Bash with the Clobber rune on it, we take a look at Clobber, and well, it's actually or onslaught, excuse me, you take a look at the onslaught rune, it's going to be giving us all of our life on hit, but the skill effect procs, because onslaught has like a reverbs behind it, those two reverbs then are only going to have a 0.704 proc coefficient. So that's what that's all about. If you want to look at the barb, or if you want to look at the barb PP or the crusader PP, definitely check these out. If you have not, I mean, it's just a bunch of numbers. If you're not interested, don't check them out. But this is some good information to know when you're really trying to grind out end game content. Must know pretty much. Corecast number 1. Next one is going to be from COD with Swords, Call of Duty with Swords. Definitely like the name, pretty good. A discussion on what you think could be in another expansion or content patch following 2.1 would be awesome. Any theories if you have any? Well, instead of theories, I'm going to give you some information on things that we know are actually going to be in future content patches. So I've written these down, so I'm going to cheat a little bit here. So first thing is going to be new legendaries to buff skills. The current state of the game is we have all these legendaries that buff our skills, whether we're playing a demon hunter or buffing our sentries, whether we're playing a barbarian and we're buffing our leap. Now, all these sets that we're putting together are basically making all of our other skills completely useless. If I have a set that's going to give me like 9,000 damage just because I'm leaping around and it's going to cover the screen, it's an AoE, damage over time, I'm not going to use something like Hammer of the Ancients that only deals a couple hundred damage. That's the current state of the game. We're kind of in this place where once you complete these sets, you're locked in, and your skills, your choices of skills are very, very limited. You know, with the Barbarian, you pretty much have to be using Battle Rage. It's going to give you a percentage added onto your leaps. You know, you can't use something like Hammer of the Ancients where you just deal a couple hundred damage. It's not going to be doing that much. You're better off stacking a ton of cooldown. So new legendaries to buff skills, because Hammer of the Ancients is pretty much useless when you have the Leap Quake build. Class balance is something that we are always going to be seeing in future patches. New legendaries for the foreseeable future of every season. That's something else that we're going to be getting. New bounties is something that they have talked about as well. New block stats. Expect something to happen to block, because block right now is really bad in the higher greater rifts. You know, it's okay, I guess, in Tournament 6, but when you get into greater rifts, the bigger monsters, block just does nothing. And you don't really need it for the trash monsters, because they're the ones that are dying faster. You need it something to help you with the heavy hitting mobs. So new block stuff, I would expect that as well. Bringing other class sets to a good place. This is something that they've talked about. If we take a look at the Barbarian, currently in 2.0.6, Leap Quake, Might of the Earth is the only way to go. Well, in 2.1, Raycore set, they reworked it, made it a good set, and it's something in addition now that the Barbarians could use. So expect that for some of the other classes as well. Clans and community features is going to be the last thing that we talked about in the Tavern Talk. If you have not checked out Tavern Talk, it's about an hour-and-a-half discussion with like 3 of the Diablo 3 devs, and they go over some of the things that I went over in this video, but a bunch more, and it's definitely worth checking out. You know, if you're just grinding some Diablo 3, Tavern Talk, it's worth a listen, at least in my opinion. You know, they talk about Gabionator, how he hit Paragon 1000. They talked about some of the ideas and things that Al Kaiser was saying. Like, they're talking about the community. They're talking about things that we do. You know, it's kind of cool. They talk about what's going on with patch 2.1, the reasons that they're making the changes that they are in various things. But that's pretty much it. That's all I did have for this video. I do want to send out my great and many thanks to all the people who have been leaving feedback. I asked for some feedback in the last like 2 videos ago, and the feedback has still been coming in, so I really do appreciate it. A lot of it has been positive and has been constructive, so do keep it up. Really is helping me out, so thank you very much. I'm ChromeOnRust for Quarks for Gaming. Once again, if you have something that you'd like to see gone over in the next video, post in the comment of this one, and you just may see it gone over. So that's going to be it for me, ChromeOnRust for Quarks for Gaming, and you all, as always, have a great day.